Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Career Bunch Podcast. It's your number one channel for everyday news and issues with your favorite host, Madam Dara. On today's episode, with the topic COVID-19 and the present situations in Nigeria, which era is regarded as the worst and why? Meanwhile, here with me is an amazing guest, Mercy Idafe. We are so excited to have you around, and we cannot but wait for your unique contributions on the said topic today. Now, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, I'm Messi Daffy, and it's a pleasure to be here on Career Bunch podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, how are you?
I'm fine, I'm very well, I'm doing great, amazing actually.
All right. So, you're sure that you're fine?
Yeah, give or take, I'm fine.
Okay. So, how have you been coping with the present condition in Nigerian society? How have you been living? How has the cash scarcity and the fuel scarcity been treating you so far?
How do we start? Do we start from the fuel scarcity or the money scarcity?
And
Anyways, we'll start with the money because actually everything you need in this life, mostly, you need to purchase with money. So it's been really hard for me being that I'm in school and I have to use money for everything, down from transportation to eating, and there's no way you actually want to do anything in school without money. So it's been really hard on me to actually get money because you have to pay to get money right nowadays.
Okay, the glitch we have to pay to get money nowadays, I think it's actually true. So, how do you feel basically as a Nigerian? Like, how do you feel right now without sentiment? How do you feel as a Nigerian? Are you happy? Are you sad? Or do you have mixed feelings?
Oh, I have mixed feelings. There are days when I wake up happy, and before the end of the day, not being cliche about this, there's this thing around that say you can't be happy throughout the day in Nigeria. Besides that, there are days where I just wake up happy, and before, let's say 12:01, I'm already going through something.
So,
I'm actually going through one mad.
so what you're trying to say now is that Nigeria is basically the reason why your mood has changed.
Yep, messing with your
So
mental
Nigeria
health.
causes mood swings. Wow. All right. So now we have the question before us. Between the COVID-19 issue that happened in 2020, where we had the lockdown, basically, and what we have currently in Nigeria, where we have fuel scarcity, scarcity, electricity failure, and POS palaver, which era do you think is worse as a Nigerian and why?
Not being biased or trying to say, okay, um, trying to sugarcoat the old situation. I would say the present situation in Nigeria, the first scarcity, POS palaver, and every other thing that is involved in this current year, 2023, as would be the worst, actually the worst time for anybody to actually be in Nigeria.
People be like, what made 2020 worse was the overhype. People were like, we had Vision 2020 and all of that. And when we are about to enter this year, we had, this year, this and all of that. Do you think that that has a part to play in what happens in Nigeria? The overhype, the high expectations and everything. Do you think it has a major role to play with what happens as a Nigerian?
I wouldn't say it's the overhype. I would just say it's things that happen over time. It's just like when something builds up over time, how to end up happening. So if you've actually looked if you look carefully rather at 2022, towards the end of 2022, you would understand that there were, when they gave the this thing, old currency limits, like when
The policy.
the policy, yes, when banks will stop accepting the old currency and the introduction of the new currency, there were things playing on behind the scene. And if you're careful to look through, you understand that this has been building up over time. So you would not call it the overhype or this thing. Yes, in 2022, everyone was like, Vision 2020, yeah, we're going, the budget and every other thing. But in 2023, it has been building. So it's just like how the volcano erupts, it builds over time. So it's something that we've been expecting, but we never knew that it would be this bad but hopefully it gets better.
Okay, now you're saying that you prefer the lockdown era where where people were dying and there was curfew. I think there was curfew from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. People cannot go out once it's 8 p.m. and you have to go out around 6
Six.
a.m. I think in places like Lagos and other states in Nigeria. So you feel like that era is better. At least there was less suffering compared to what we have now.
Every time.
Schools were down,
Mm-hmm.
churches were closed,
Yeah.
businesses was were suspended
Yes.
rather. A lot of activities had to go on break
Yes.
because of COVID. And now you're saying that that era and now is better. Do you realize that that suspension in the economy is still affecting us with it?
Yeah, it actually is still affecting us today because Nigeria is currently underdeveloped. The economy is really, really not good, and other countries, yeah, that are also they're also affected or are still affected by the issues that went on in 2020. That's the COVID-19 era, but the present situation, at least in 2020, there was still a means of listen. The money you've actually saved over time was actually helping you. You could
Okay.
actually cater for your family with what you have. Unlike now that even down to people that are rich are
Okay.
still facing one or two things, are still facing something currently.
Cash scarcity.
It's either you are facing the cash scarcity rather, or you are facing the fuel scarcity, or you're facing POS for because imagine you going out and you have money, like
But
you
you
are
cannot
well to
access.
do, but you cannot access that money. It messes up with your thinking, it messes up with your mind. Than when, okay, we know that this was the cause of our problem. At least in 2020 we had the idea, we had a sound knowledge that it was because of the coronavirus.
Okay.
And if you are sound, or you are inclined well, you understand that all these things that were put in place were for our own benefits.
You mean the current
Them the
situation or COVID?
COVID were for
Okay.
our own benefit. So it was not as if it was imposed on us that yeah, everyone should stay home from 6 till 8 p.m.
Okay.
because they don't want the spread of COVID-19
Okay.
to be wide. But in this period, we're outside, everybody's outside. What is it helping us with? We are still struggling from transportation, the hike price of transportation, to fuel scarcity, to POS, to money going to the bank stuff. It's hectic. So how do you compare 2020 to 2023?
So now, if I understand you properly, you are standing firmly on the basis that COVID era is preferable to what we have now because
Yes.
of the change and the conditions surrounding it. But do you know that in that 2020, we lived with the fear of untimely death?
Do
You
you
could see somebody today and then okay, the person has died because of COVID. You know, people were actually scared that people would die on a regular. People actually died on a regular basis compared to what we have now.
but do you also know that the fear of the unknown actually kills? And do you also know that everybody is going to die someday? And without COVID-19, the person you're seeing today might die before tomorrow. So at least we knew there was something behind our fear. We know what we're actually scared of.
And we took precautions.
Yes, unlike now that okay, what exactly are you scared of?
Okay.
Because if you do something now, you don't know if the money you're even trying to save or the money you're even trying to go and collect. You might go to the bank now trying to like hustle for money because we're actually hustling for our own money.
Yeah.
You're going to back to hustle
Exactly.
for money and maybe something you do something to somebody and that person gets vexed and use something to eat your head. You die.
Okay.
You don't even know.
Okay, and think of it too. In during that lockdown time, the government also gave palliatives, but that is not actually happening now. So, yes, I would join you to say that lockdown was better in a way.
Then
In a way,
in a way, yeah,
yeah, in a
than
way,
20.
because things were literally down. A lot of even schools were on strike. Schools were not even opening and all of that. So now let's talk about what you're talking about currently, what is happening in Nigeria, because this podcast is written with societal issues. Now, the current condition in Nigeria, the cash scarcity, the fuel scarcity, electricity failure, and POS palaver, who does it affect more? Is it the government or the people or the masses rather?
The masses, mostly what people, if you go through the internet daily, you get to understand that it affects the masses the most, and not just all the masses. It's more like there's this. I saw something of recent that I think you have to be rich to actually okay. Concerning the money, the
Okay.
inavailability of cash.
Okay.
According to CBN, there is no paper to print out money.
Such
But if you
ridiculous statement.
very ridiculous, right? But if you look closely to events happening every weekend or events happening every time, you see that there's this
At
money at
parties,
parties.
celebrations, and all of that.
There's the money is there. But how then do people that go to party, but I feel it's the rich that are able to access this money? Then people under the, let's say, the average people, the low class people,
Okay.
are struggling to get this money. We all have the money, at least to some extent. So I
Okay.
would say it is affecting more of the masses
Than the
than the
government.
government.
Okay, I think in the news particularly, I think the CBN Emefiele was saying that there was no paper, like you said earlier, to print out the money, and he also gave an order that the deadline for old currency should be thwarted. That is, people can still use old currencies. So, do you feel like that scarcity should not have been in place if the CBN had taken proper precautions? That is, printing the money aforehand.
It The cash scarcity should not have even happened in first place, because if we look, I don't know the year they changed the old naira notes, but during that time, if I can remember correctly, I think I was much younger. As at
Okay.
that time, it was never like this. We've actually experienced change of currency, and
Yeah.
it was not like this.
I think it was gradually
It was
people were
that,
still
yeah,
accepting the
the
old
old
currency. Even
currency.
till date, people still accept that old. If you bring it,
Yes,
some persons
some said,
accept it.
yeah, you
Yeah.
get. So if they had done it with much wisdom, it would not have been like this. And I feel why the CBN governor, why governor, that's this governor Emefiele
Godwin Emefiele.
of the CBN, actually did remove the ban on the old currency, well, because the High Court actually asked for it. It is when it affects those people in top places. That's when, if you notice in Nigeria, until it affects those in
Yes.
top places, things are actually not done about certain issues. If it doesn't affect them, or if it doesn't touches them, they will just neglect it. They will act as if they're oblivious about everything that is actually happening in the country. So if they had actually put certain things in place, or they have actually like thought about it carefully without, because it was sudden,
Okay.
the
The
change
change.
in Nigerian currency policy was sudden. I think
Okay.
like it was just a month, no, 2 months or
Two
so,
months
two
interval.
month interval to
And
drop all your
Nigerians did
money.
not
And
take it seriously until I
because
think a week before. That's why
it
there's
was like
scarcity.
this, and even down to a month before, I
Okay.
went to withdraw from POS
POS.
normal, and I was still giving old currency. And
Okay.
according to them, even the bank were still giving old
Yeah, if you
currency.
go to ATM machines to get money, they'll give you old
Old
currency. So I wonder
currency,
how they want us to get
the new
new
currency, when it's
currency.
not when it's not even available. You see,
Okay.
so if they had put certain things, certain measures in place, it would not have ended up like this.
All right. So I can say that we are used to fuel scarcity to an extent, and
Bad.
even electricity failure. But this POS palaver, what do you think? Are they doing the right thing, or should we not blame them for the hike in price?
This is affecting me. I would say we should blame them.
Okay, because I was in a discussion with one POS agent, and she was like, she buys money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know they buy. No, one thing about business is this. Yeah, you have to use money to get money.
Money. Yeah.
But I feel like what they are collecting is too much. How would you use 200 naira or 400 naira to get to 1,000 naira? I'm not even exaggerating. Somewhere in Ijebu last week, I used 400 naira to get 1,000 naira. And they are saying it unapologetically. If you don't want to get it, you can leave. So, do you think we should blame them, or we should blame the government, or what do you think is the problem?
I don't actually think we have to blame, like, fully blame the POS agents, because
Okay.
it's not really their fault, but still they should be considerate enough that we are all part of the masses that are being affected with this money scarcity in the country. But there are certain places. A week ago, my friend withdrew 6,000 naira for 1 5. I'm like,
Wow.
what am I using my money to do?
Wow.
So if we are to blame them, we would say we want to stop business for them, because I heard even them, yes, according to what you said, they collect money with money. So, but it is, how will I say, it is wise, or it is human for you to consider your other people, your fellows, that we are all trying to like make ends meet.
Okay.
And you trying to, because you are suffering with this certain thing, you want everybody to actually suffer from this
With
certain
it.
things. Actually, how would I say? I'll actually say you are wicked, downright wicked. So try and consider. But if they don't feed their family, who will?
Okay, aside the fact that we need to consider them, don't you see them as opportunists? No, humans are basically opportunists. Any small opportunity they get, they tend to exploit it. So, what do you think about that?
I would say, yeah, you
Are
see
they
the
using what
part.
they have to get what they want, or they are just being
If
an
it's not
opportunist?
beneficial to anybody, nobody will actually do it. That's just human being. If I'm not getting something from it, I would actually not want to do it. There are some POS agents that, because of the price, the money they used to get the money,
Okay.
they've actually shut down their business. And some they're still like, okay, I'm still going to do this business, and then they will go and collect it. But I feel if um let's say if 90% of the business around actually accept transfer, there are some people today they don't even accept transfer. They'll tell you, say no, no, no.
You want cash and you
We
want the
want
new
cash and they
currency.
want the new currency. And for you to even get the new currency, it's a problem already. So if the POS agents can actually consider and like try to be less of an opportunist, I think we will actually be better in
So
this
we
country.
we cannot call them um extortioners.
No,
We can't because they are doing their
they are
businesses. So
doing
they
their
have every
business.
right to put any charge that they want.
Because if you call them an extortionist, you have to like call everybody, every business segment, everybody in the country an extortionist, because the way POS are increasing their money, the price of things. Another businessman that sells these things also increasing the price of
And I
things.
say dollar rate has
Another,
increased.
yeah, another person that is selling these things. So if I'm going to feed my family, I have to actually increase the price of things in my own business so I can actually purchase that thing. Because if I reduce the price of things of my business, my purchasing power will be low. You get, so it's just
Okay.
like increasing your own purchasing power where you sell and everything, buying and selling and every other thing involved.
So now, as we come to the end of this interview, so now you said earlier that you preferred the lockdown era, the COVID era to this time. So what can you say to, let's say, motivate every Nigerian that is going through one or two crises now? Is it either the cash palaver, the POS palaver, the fuel scarcity or electricity failure? What can you say to your fellow Nigerians? Okay, how do you tend to motivate them to stay strong and to be to persevere? How do you tend to tell them? Like what can you tell them about that? Should they give up? Because should they give up or they should still hope for the best? What can you say about the government? Like what do you have to say?
Okay, not to be cliche here, but we'll go with this popular saying: "There's light at the end of the tunnel." Okay, let's be serious here. Yeah, there's light at the end of the tunnel, and I would say actually there's no point if you give up, Nana, you fuck up, according to
Okay.
Nigerians. So I would say just hold on tight. It's not easy, yes, for everybody, even down to the rich, the poor, the middle class. Every other person is actually facing one or two in Nigeria. There's actually different things going on for different persons in this country. So I would say
Yes.
you should just hold on strong. It will soon be over. That's just it. It will take a while. It will take a time, some time, but it will definitely be over. But all I would just advise and I would say is, if you have your PVC, please, my dear brothers and sisters in this country, let's make wise decision. And if you know you don't have wisdom, follow someone that have wisdom and vote wisely. We need to vote wisely. This period, it's
Few days from
few
now.
days from now
So you
for.
have your PVC, Miss Mercy.
You
All
you
right.
know the vibes. So just get your PVC, vote, and vote wisely, please. Thank you.
So once again, guys, it's Miss Mercy on today's episode with Career Bunch Podcast, and our topic once again is COVID-19 and the present situation in Nigeria. Which era is regarded as the worst and why? So Miss Mercy said she prefers COVID-19 era to this era because this era is unbearable. But she has successfully told us how we can keep strong and stay fit, and she advised us to vote. Please keep on visiting this podcast channel, keep on watching this space, and keep on staying with us. Once again, please subscribe to our channel, for more information from us. Thank you so much, Miss Mercy, for sitting pretty.
Thank you.
Thank you, audience, for listening. Once again, it's your girl, Madam Tara. Bye.
Bye.